Greetings and salutation, anime fans. Welcome to another episode of Thomas's Prerogative. That's right, today is episode 2 of the brand new Thomas's Prerogative. And now that we got in the first episode out of the way, we're going to jump right into a themed month as we're going to be covering Final Fantasy, counting down to the release of Final Fantasy 13 on March 14th. So we're going to start it off by covering Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete. This is the director's cut of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children released for Blu-ray. It has 26 minutes of explosive new footage, as they put it, along with over 100 revised scenes that have new footage in them separate from the new footage that was added, along with thousands of edits and cuts that just add so much detail to it. And pound for pound, I have to say, it is a much better movie than the ones that were released before. Just as far as story is concerned, one of the things it adds to it is that the geostigma disease, it never showed you the impact that the disease was having on the populace. In this movie, some of the new scenes add to it just show you the impact of this crippling disease. There's a little girl that has a Moogle doll throughout the movie that we remember. Well, there's some scenes that are really focused on her and her supposed little brother who dies in the film, which is just heartbreaking. It really tweaks at your heart. Another thing that is different about this film from the special standard edition is that the way it's cut is different. Now the best way I can describe it is that the special edition was, or should I say the original version, was cut Japanese style. Whereas this version had a more of an American cut. And what I mean by that is that the Japanese have a way of, they like to be subtle. They don't just tell you the details outright. They'll add details, but they like to be subtle with what happens and not really say much. They like the silence to set the mood. Just sort of the Japanese style of cinema. This cut really makes this movie come off more of an American style of cinema. It gets much more into detail about what's happening. A lot of these revised scenes with new footage add to that. The details are just adding to what the story is. Another thing that's different is, unlike where the special edition is more focused on Cloud through the entire movie, this one is more focused on the world. Again, you get more info on the Turks, on Reno and Rude, on Tifa, on Denzel, on the children who are inflicted with geostigma. Now, while there's so much good stuff, whether it be the music of Uematsu, just to the beautiful art design in the movie, there are a couple of things that I had a problem with. One, which I've had a problem since the movie's ever been released, is I've always had an issue with the introduction of the movie. And when I say the introduction, I'm talking about the little montage speech where they tell us what happened in the game. It really makes the people who are watching the movie who have never played the game have to go back and watch the Reminisce of Final Fantasy VII Story Digest, which came with all versions of the film. But other than, pound for pound, I really wish, even if it added an extra 5 or 10 minutes to the movie, that they had a better retelling of what happened in the game in the movie. While most people who are buying this are people who played the game, I really believe that if you really want to sell this movie well, you have to have a better intro into what happened before for the people who haven't played the game. They shouldn't have to go watch the Final Fantasy VII Story Digest. The other thing is, it felt like in some places the scenes were sped up, dialogue-wise. Because there are parts where I remember, there was a pause here and there's no pause there anymore. So, but other than those small things, which really, in the context of it, are really small, this is an excellent film. It is well worth the $30 to buy it. I think any Final Fantasy fan or any anime fan should definitely have this in their collection. You add in the extras, including a couple new things like the Legacy of Final Fantasy VII and On the Way to Smile, episode Denzel, which is a traditional animated film, which I will be reviewing next week, by the way. It is just a great movie, so go out and check it out. So that's it for this week on Thomas's Prerogative. As I said before, next week we will be covering On the Way to Smile, episode Denzel, which is a special on this movie. So until next time, anime fans, peace.